Mixing. Okay, so those of you with Icon, first and foremost, you want to set your default EQ and dynamics to come up here so that they shortcut up into your menus. Also, down here in the automation controls, I just tick everything. I want all of these new features to be switched on. They all came in 7.2. Plugin controls to default to automation enabled. I always want that. I just want to be able to automate straight away. The only thing you may want to switch off would be your bypass automation on a plugin, and that's very easy to do by holding down the power claw, control option Apple, and clicking on the bypass button to disable it. So I always leave that on so that everything comes up ready to go. Suppress automation write to warnings. This pertains to using the write to commands, the automation write to commands, which are a big part of my mixing style. So I always have them switched off to get rid of those warnings. It's not something that I want to see. Allow latch prime and stop. This is what I would call a gatekeeper preference, in that if you switch this on, it opens up the gate, it opens up the possibilities of a bunch of different workflows. So it's probably one of the most fundamental preferences that I switch on when I'm using Icon, is I have to make sure that latch prime and stop is switched on, so that it then has implications with preview, with my write to commands, with a bunch of other options for me during playback. So I always make sure that allow latch prime and stop is switched on. It basically means that you can prime latch-based automation when transport is stopped. So you can set up a scene without fighting the automation during playback. And coalescing when removing slaves from a VCA group, that's just kind of, to me, that's a common sense kind of way of working for me. So I always switch that on. Personal choice of when you want to choose to sum your VCA automation into its slaves. Do you want to do it if you remove them from that group? Typically, I think it's a good idea to have that switched on. Coalescing your trim automation as well. This is the default sort of the legacy behavior of Pro Tools. Typically, I'd switch this over to on exiting trim mode or manually. Depends on the kind of workflow you're doing, but trim automation to me, I really want to be able to get in there and edit it just in case it's been a 90% pass. I did a really nice pass, but you know, it was just a little bit wrong. If I've got it left on every pass, I have to undo and go back and redo the whole pass again. If I leave it so that my trim automation isn't coalesced, I can get in there and edit it. On exiting trim mode is probably a common sense way of not too much of an interruption in your workflow. Manually means that you have reasons for wanting to keep that there until you make a choice later on down the track.